This is bittersweet to finish the course. I feel like I've just started understanding how important it is, and I feel like I'm moving beyond the hand-holding time to being able to really discuss things with colleagues with an in-depth understanding. So I'll categorically go through some of the questions that were posed by Dr. Shane. What were my successes and difficulties? I, I find success comes from difficulty. I say that to my students all the time, that the learning process is never easy, but none of us become professionals overnight. And I think what is really good is a collaborative process. The collaborative process gets through those challenges and difficulties to create the successes. The financial times discussions, looking over the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, getting in depth, getting through that budgeting process, which that was not easy. That was so hard. It was being thrown into the deep end and saying, you have to survive. And that's exactly what it is in an arts organization. You have to survive. And that survival means acting on your feet, getting to understand every single detail. And that was a huge success. Working with my colleagues for the Oregon Symphony, every single time, sometimes we would be in the hangouts, really getting some critical thinking, going in depth to understand what was the truth of their financial situation. That was great. Patterns started emerging that made sense. This is where they're spending too much. This is where they need to make money. This is where arts organizations succeed or fail, and that was very enlightening. How did the course evolve or not evolve? You're thinking about the nonprofit arts organization. One of the catalysts, the final catalyst, was the TED Talk from Dan Pallotta, and I went straight to my administrator, my director here at the school, because we are in such a financial crisis and political crisis that happened and unfolded this year. And I realized there's such a need for global change. I'm in an international school, and I look at the way that arts organizations are set up around the world. Everybody wants an artist. Nobody wants to pay them. And I look at this TED Talk from Dan Pallotta, and I think it was such a final summary of the importance of really great financial planning with a surplus for the necessary risks to make an arts organization beneficial, including as an educator in the arts, to say my students have a great place to go, to convince the parents that this isn't just a great outlet for them, but this is a viable career path. And the more in understanding I have, and the more understanding I needed to take over to my administrator, who has an IBM CFO here for our school. He's a great guy, but he has no idea of nonprofits. And when I said temporarily restricted funds, he said, "What's that?" So I am the student having to be a teacher and being assigned with a task more faster than I ever wanted to, of having to come up with great innovative ideas, which are part of my capstone project, to earn the school money. I'm seeing things unfold in real time, and the necessity that even at a school level, how important the arts are and how to get the funding for them by understanding budget, capital gains, endowments, investments, and above all, marketing and fundraising. We don't think about that in a school, but we must. This is the future for them. Sorry, mosquitoes. What has surprised you in this in this course about nonprofit organizations at yourself? The course started off comfortably, and I thought maybe this is going to be good. I had done a cost elimination against a $4 million project for Citibank, but that was easy. I was given the money, and I was told we're going to run the following expenses against them. You will track it. You will pay the other companies, and we will have this Y2K project taken care of. That was easy. This was so different. That was just a tiny, tiny bit of a corporation. But when I look at an arts organization, there are so many in-depth levels that every single dollar must be allocated, must be accounted for, and must be stretched in such a great way for the sustainability of the arts organization. what I do find arts organizations and corporations have a tendency to do, especially in their financial statements, is to say everything is just fine. Look how robust we are, when behind the scenes they're struggling to pay their bills. And the sleuthing, the Sherlock Holmes approach to budgeting and financial understanding and analysis is very critical. It By understanding the analysis, that means you get a full picture of what the truth is and the direction where the arts organization needs to go, and for sustainability, for growth, for great ideas and innovative planning. The final comment I'd like to say: how can you implement what you learned through completing this course in your professional work outside the classroom? I've already touched on it. I'm in the middle of it. My capstone project is unfolding as we speak, so it's a real life application of everything learned to date. And speaking with a mom today whose husband is one of the treasurers, and not the board treasurer, but the assistant treasurer for the school, they said, we need you to sit down with us. And I'm really nervous about that. I'm a novice, but at least I can talk them through that. And I'm going to need a lot of support from Dr. Shane and from my colleagues on what forms, what grants, what is possible for education. I just want to say, I am so impressed with all of my colleagues. I couldn't have done it without you. A special extra thanks to Jennifer and Matthew Karen. Really, working through with you this entire semester has been so enlightening and so supportive, and I appreciate all of your critical input and your extra time to look over my work, and I really enjoy all the collaboration that I found. Michelle for the Financial Times, you're a hoot to work with. So I say this out loud. I'm so impressed with all the work I have seen. We are passionate, we are dedicated, and I think we couldn't have chosen a better master's program to be in. Thanks for listening.